Hi, I'm Steve the bartender. Welcome to the grand final judging of the Coffee Cocktail Challenge. 2 months ago, the Mr. Black team and I challenged everyone to submit their own unique coffee cocktail featuring Mr. Black cold brew coffee liqueur. I judged the 3 most popular each week and picked out a weekly finalist with the exception of week 5 when we had 2 winners. Today, we are judging those top 9 cocktails to decide who will win the Coffee Cocktail Challenge. I've enlisted a few extra judges from the US, Stefan, Tony, and Shannon. If you want the recipes, see the links in the description below.
Well, thank you, Steve. For those who don't know, I'm Stefan. I'm the National Brand Ambassador for the US for Mr. Black. And I'm here in San Diego, California at a wonderful cocktail bar we call Raised by Wolves. And I'm here with 2 of my favorite people, some great cocktail minds, Tony and Shannon of Noble Experiment and CH Projects.
Hi guys.
So good to have you. You ready to taste some coffee cocktails today?
So ready.
I purposely didn't drink coffee earlier today just because I knew I was gonna get my fix here today.
Smart, because we are definitely going to get caffeinated. It's going to be a great time. We're excited to be here. And let's go ahead and get started and taste some cocktails.
Let's do it.
So let's start with the week 1 finalist cocktail, the Black Lavender Latte. The floral notes of the lavender and slight spice of the cognac combine with coffee beautifully in this boozy spin on a latte.
Great. So the Black Lavender Latte, first cocktail of the day. Shall we try it?
You don't really lose the coffee note, which is really good. It's just like a really nice floral cappuccino or latte.
Yeah, I love that the coffee is like really shining through. It's like celebrating what Mr. Black is for sure.
Right, and the lavender is a natural pairing with coffee, and it really is beautiful.
It's definitely a little decadent. On the decadent side, like I would definitely label this as one of our like dessert cocktails, if, you know.
Correct.
It comes through in the foam too.
Yeah,
Same.
the lavender?
Yeah, it's like light and cloud-like and it has like a nice little like coffee backbone to it. It seems
weird.
like a really fun drink for like a coffee shop to serve.
It's a cafe drink. That's a great way to explain that. I mean, it's just like a great like January, February kind of cocktail.
Which is the mood we're in right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There it is. Cool. The Black Lavender Latte.
100% agree, guys. The floral and coffee combination works surprisingly well. Next, we have the cleverly named Insomniacs Pillow with a combination of bourbon, coffee, and chocolate that bring not only their own comforting flavors, but combine to summon notes of butterscotch and honeycomb.
Great, so this drink is?
The Insomniacs Pillow.
Yeah, for cocktail number 2. We have a beautiful cocktail in a really classic sour glass.
I truly love cocktails that look like this. Like the classic, like dark spirit. You can definitely tell it's gonna be a little decadent with a nice like float of like cream on top. I mean, you have like nice color of like brown and white with the cream, so it's like a real like espresso martini kind of look.
It's got a classic espresso martini.
The presentation is always so fire with cocktails like this.
It's classy.
A little like layered look to it.
Well, you definitely get the coffee and the vanilla thing.
Oh man, the bourbon just like really punches through that.
Yeah, you get plenty of bourbon. You get that coffee vanilla with the creme de cacao.
It's almost like a caramely kind of like undertone to it.
Mean
That's
chocolate.
fucking dessert. That's tiramisu.
Yeah, it's got some of that.
It's so good.
Especially since you were able to get through the
the cream on
cream.
top. Because when you straw taste, I felt like I got like mostly cream.
Yeah, so like coat the.
Yeah, I would try to like
straw
get under there.
I see what you're saying with like that like
it's
tiramisu.
really cool.
Yeah, there you go. The cocktail number 2, the Insomniacs Pillow.
I got it.
Yeah, why don't you just dive in?
I gotta dive in.
Just dive right in.
Tony's diving straight in, so I'm following suit. Very rich on the coffee and the chocolate notes. And I do get a bit of that tiramisu kind of flavor to it. The Mr. Swizzle combines the burnt sugar flavors of Demerara rum and honey with coffee. This depth is opened up by the lemon juice base and the clove spice notes of the falernum.
Tony, can you explain to me why a bartender loves a good swizzle? Like, I think it's a crowd pleaser for all three of us, right? Like,
I think it's because the word swizzle is not really in the dictionary, but for some reason, everybody knows what a swizzle is or how to swizzle. If you were to hand me this drink, you said swizzle this, I would immediately do this.
Something about like
there's
this
something
motion
about
is
just
pretty
doing
right.
this and like mixing it in the glass. That's just so much fun. And you know what? They're perfect at-home cocktails.
Right.
They're great for anyone to make at home to just swizzle something in a cup and enjoy the cocktail with your friends. Go back to the party.
Yeah, and I mean, Pebble Ice is a crowd pleaser too because it's always super cold and you can chew it, you know, and it reminds you.
I love chewing on ice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I expected it to taste like.
Wow,
absolutely.
I love the coffee and the citrus notes.
Yep.
They like want to not blend in together, but it works perfectly. Like it's so great. They're two weird ingredients that shouldn't mix together, and it's a beautiful mixture. Actually, it's a beautiful thing.
Falernum, right? I love falernum. You get that little bit of like lime zest, and obviously lime and sugar and rum is like this beautiful holy trinity. Right. And coffee is, you know, it's grown in that same region, right? Central America. So obviously everything's kind of lining up for me. I was a little concerned actually because it didn't call for lime juice, it called for lemon, which is a little strange for me thinking of, you know, that holy trinity of rum, lime, and sugar.
Right, but lemon, like a squeeze of lemon in your espresso is totally a thing.
Right. So looking at it from that
Yeah.
direction, I guess I get it for sure. What do you think?
I
You
was
think there's enough citrus?
surprised that I'm surprised by this drink and how well it works just because coffee and citrus normally is not
Right.
like a go-to, like I want a fucking like refreshing coffee drink.
It's weird.
but
A
it
lot of
works.
people's brains think that way, right?
It's very tiki-esque
Yep.
in a way to me where it has just like a lot going on. Like I want to try it.
Coffee and tiki is a natural because it can lend itself to like sweet sour drinks.
I mean,
in a really lovely way.
I see it as like such like a classic cocktail. Like I can see people drinking this in like the 50s or the 60s, you know, just
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm digging the Mr. Swizzle. Well done on the Mr. Swizzle for sure.
You guys really seem to enjoy the Swizzle. I think the introduction of coffee in tiki and citrus cocktails seems like an unlikely pairing, but it works a treat. Think of the Mr. Barley High, which is a coffee, pineapple, and citrus drink. And again, coffee works surprisingly well in a tiki cocktail. Yum. The Scotch whiskey adds smoke and maltiness, whilst the Luxardo Maraschino delivers rich cherry notes and lemon zest brightens the drink. Each ingredient highlights a particular flavor profile of 3 types of coffee beans, hence the naming, the story of 3 beans.
Great, so for our next cocktail, the story of 3 beans. Are we the 3 beans today? You get just enough of maraschino. It's really on the back end. It's really not prevalent, which is probably best for me.
It's a nice little like twist off like a revolver kind of. You know?
Absolutely. I would put it in the revolver category.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot on paper going on in the drink, but when you actually taste it, like nothing is really popping out.
One thing I will
shining
make
through.
a point is that because we spritz the glass with absinthe as opposed to adding it into the drink, you're not getting the absinthe through the straw, whereas I just tasted the drink in glass, and you're getting the essence of the aroma from
cool.
I mean, don't mind if I do.
Yeah, go for it. Of the absinthe, but you're also getting a little bit of the flavor, which is helping dry out the drink a bit, which is nice, and kind of helping the build a little bit more. But yeah, it is an odd build for us bartenders, right? Where we're used to thinking in terms of, either, like a daisy spec, which would have that 1.5 to 3/4, or, like a more traditional like 2-1, to see something in that like 1 3/4 to 1 1/4 realm is a definitely an interesting way to try to balance the drinks.
The absinthe is actually really nice in that. Like when you taste it from the glass and it shines through in the background, it's actually really cool.
I also really like the lemon on the nose when you actually drink from the glass.
So there it is, the story of 3 beans.
Okay guys, so it sounds like this one is on the right path, but needs a little bit more refinement with either ratios or utilizing a whiskey with more prominent smoke. I might try again for myself though. It is really bright on the nose with the lemon zest, and you get those anise notes from the absinthe. Ooh, interesting. If you know, you know from week 5. Falernum syrup is a staple of many tiki cocktail drinks, and this cocktail recreates its spicy, zesty, and tart flavors. Toffee and baking spices from the rum, citrus from the lime juice, and fruity sweetness of the gooseberry syrup. It's then finished with some heavy smoke from the mezcal.
So our next drink is called If You Know, You Know. And I mean, I know it's a really good looking drink. So a mezcal tiki drink with coffee. What do we think so far? Initial.
I love all those things together. Mezcal, coffee, tiki. Yeah, it sounds great.
Which mezcal did we use?
Vita.
Vita.
Vita?
Okay.
Vita. So Vita is always gonna have that slight green note to it. So you're definitely getting a little bit of that. But I do like the smokiness. Smokiness is definitely there.
I like the smokiness. I like the coffee. I like the tiki, aspect from it. I think it's a fun, unique tiki drink, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really funky. I would say the cinnamon is kind of getting in the way for me.
I did a lot of cinnamon. I don't know if
if you're gonna light something on fire, you might as well go a little.
The way I see it, especially for the camera, obviously it looks great when you do it that way. But yeah, I would imagine if you back off the cinnamon a little bit, it won't be so cinnamony in your face.
I want to see what it's like with this.
Yeah, get in there.
It's really savory.
Mm-hmm.
I find it like really savory, a little aggressive with like the Smith & Cross and the mezcal in there, but it's working and it's kind of tiki vibe that it has going on.
How much coffee is in there?
There's an ounce of Mr. Black.
3/4. I actually wouldn't be mad if there was more Mr. Black in there.
Yeah, the coffee kind
See,
of gets lost.
this is the fun of using Mr. Black in coffee cocktails, because the more you start using it, you realize you can actually use a little more than you could have ever imagined, right?
I really like this drink. I think it's cool. It's
I dig it too.
Really cool.
It's a little thin on like syrup. I think it could be a little fatter to kind of balance out the acidity of both the lime and the gooseberry. Yeah. I do like the addition of gooseberry because it does have a savory element as well as like that citric kind of fruitiness. But yeah, I think it's really well done. Maybe a little tweak here and there, and it could be a rock star of a drink.
I agree.
Sure. But what great ideas for sure. Very original.
Looks like you got a little bit too excited with the cinnamon there, Stefan. And so did I. Cheers. I love the nose of this one with the cinnamon, the bouquet of the mint, and those rich tiki flavors. A caffeinated take on an old fashioned, matured with smoke and maple syrup for a lumberjack inspired twist. We call him Mr. Lumberjack.
For our next cocktail, Mr. Lumberjack.
Straight up Tootsie Roll.
Yeah,
There.
yeah. There's a lot of Tootsie Roll vibes for sure. Maple syrup is
a lot
like
of maple.
Yeah, it's a really aggressive ingredient in cocktails. So a full half ounce is going. You're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel the maple first.
It's like maple and orange in your face.
That's funny. I'm not really tasting the smoke as much, even though usually a smoked cocktail glass, that's the first and only thing. I bet you when you pick it up and put it in your nose, it's gonna be a different thing.
It's like a campfire when you bring it to your nose like that.
Right. I'm getting the coffee. I'm getting coffee in there.
Definitely.
There's bourbon.
I think the maple's just like so overpowering that
Right.
it's hard to get there for me.
You know, in this drink, a bar spoon probably would have been enough. Because a full half ounce was definitely.
I was just about to say bar spoon.
Yeah.
I love the coffee notes in it. I actually even like the smoke in it, which is usually overpowering, but it's actually really good.
I picked cherry wood. It's
Cherry,
kind of like my
yeah.
go-to because it doesn't end up so mesquite, you know, kind of hickory. It's a little sweeter of a smoke.
Yeah, true.
So for cocktails, that's a good little, you know, piece of advice. Is try to stay away from the really smoky stuff. You know, cocktails are best when they're subtle, not when they slap you over the face.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, obviously I love the idea. I love, you know, maple and smoke and bourbon and coffee all together. It reminds me of camping, right? Cheers, the Mr. Lumberjack, which I love the name, by the way. Awesome name.
I agree with Shannon, and I mentioned it the first time around as well. A bar spoon of maple would probably be enough. Maple can easily overwhelm or overpower a drink, but a small measure of maple would make it more subtle and complementary to those flavors. The Himalayan Retreat is inspired by a drink called kawa, which is a green tea infused with saffron, cinnamon, and cardamom, served with honey and crushed nuts.
All right, so the Himalayan Retreat, which is a play on the kawa drink.
I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah, I
A
haven't had the
Manhattan
kawa.
variation of sorts.
Yeah, I'm into all these things. I say we give it a go. I'm gonna give it a little sniff. For the orange oils, we're going in. I like the rum in there.
Oh, that's fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really cool riff on a Manhattan.
Yeah, looking at it on paper, I wasn't really sure what it was gonna drink like.
It has a lot going on paper.
Right.
And the spec is weird, so for us as bartenders, we kind of look at it and we're like, okay. But
Right.
I think it actually ends up being a really cool drink that celebrates both the coffee and the rum. The orgeat's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
And
into
Tony,
it.
you like diluted it perfectly. I think if it was any more further diluted, it would kind of fall apart.
I think the cardamom is the start of the show, actually. I mean, it's going to give it a nice, bright, green, savory note to all this, like, coffee,
Right.
dark, like, almost like chocolatey notes in the background, or like, but cardamom is like, and the orgeat is really good in it.
Right. Nuttiness,
Nutty.
the rums, the coffee, those are all really amazing things, and the complementary flavors there with the orange and what have you. It's nice.
I also love direct rum cocktails, and I feel like there's not like that many dope ones out there. So
True,
I definitely am really biased to this drink. I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
There it is. Give it a try.
Sounds like you guys really enjoyed the flavors of this one. I was a little bit hesitant as well with the specs on paper, but was pleasantly surprised with this drink. I think the overproof is a crucial ingredient considering the number and amount of sweet components. Vietnamese coffee is an amazing caffeine-heavy coffee made with espresso and condensed milk. The Vietnamese coffee Martini really pulls on my heartstrings.
So for our next drink, we have the Vietnamese coffee martini, which I'm really excited about. I love Vietnamese coffee.
I
Nice and
love
strong.
Vietnamese coffee.
Yeah, strong and also potent and sugary.
Gets
And,
the job done.
and let's
We
all
don't
just
like
be
it.
honest that a big, beautiful star anise pod in the center of an espresso martini variation is really sexy.
It's sexy
Oh,
as
it's
fuck.
yeah.
so
Yeah.
sexy.
And then Tony, I appreciate the extra bean. That way there's, like the 4 points of the compass.
Not as sweet as I thought it was gonna be.
No, absolutely.
I
I love the
actually really
dry
like
quality of this cocktail for sure. I think it allows everything to shine without overpowering.
It's like bitter, bitter in the way that like baking chocolate is bitter.
Right.
I really appreciate that after we've had so many sweet cocktails today. So this is kind of a refreshingly bitter drink.
I mean, it's pretty dead on to a Vietnamese coffee.
Yep,
Totally.
it tastes just like it.
It's pretty crazy. It's like,
I mean,
wow,
it's kind of the same ingredients. So
Yeah.
It's a really easy build, really easy cocktail to make. I could see people making this at home for their, little get-togethers when we're allowed to have those again, I guess.
Sounds like 3 bartenders like this drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make that 4 bartenders, Stefan. I've said it before, but I'm a big fan of Vietnamese iced coffees too, and it's even better with a heavy pour of booze. Cheers. The nose is heavy on the coffee, and it's reminiscent of a Vietnamese iced coffee, so yeah. The minty Mr. Black Mocha is very coffee forward on the nose, then boosted with chocolate and ends with minty freshness. Further enhanced by the mint sprig for garnish. When smelling deeper, the delicious bourbon notes can be detected.
All right, so last but certainly not least, we have the minty Mr. Black Mocha. The
Sounds like a frappuccino.
MMF cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. Don't look at the acronym. But yeah, so we've got already a beautiful cocktail in a Collins glass with a mint sprig garnish, which is one of my favorite classic preparations.
It is gorgeous.
He loves the bushel.
Yes, bushels of
Bushel in the nose.
yeah, right, like right in your face, right in the nose. That's the first thing you get, right, is the aromatics from the mint. And then the submission actually had a really beautiful swath of chocolate, melted chocolate with some coffee beans. Yeah, really
So
cool
just
preparation.
visualize that.
Yeah, so if you could just visualize that, maybe I can, call Hollywood and like have them like digitally add that in later.
Right. We got the budget.
Yeah, we got the budget for that, for this one. Actually, it's coming out of Steve the bartender's budget, so thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. But yeah, cool. So we have this minty contraption here, which actually has creme de menthe, which is a really rare kind of, you don't see it very often ingredient in cocktails these days.
True.
So let's give it a try. I'm getting grasshopper vibes for sure. It's amazing how only a quarter ounce will do that, right?
It's a
It's a minty Mr. Black.
That's exactly what I wanted.
Okay.
Wow.
I was like looking at this and thinking like, I want mint chocolate chip
It's a
ice
chocolate
cream, and
grasshopper.
that's exactly
The chocolate grasshopper.
Yeah,
Well
that's
done.
So
Whoever submitted
awesome.
this cocktail, a chocolate grasshopper to finish this off.
It's really well balanced, actually.
Oh yeah.
For being a
We're
dessert
doing
cocktail.
fighting over this.
I really want to get the mint in my nose.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. We'll make another one. Yeah, well done. I mean, obviously that is a crowd
That's great.
pleaser for
Yeah,
sure.
that is
Mint,
definitely a crowd pleaser.
chocolate, booze, good times.
Why not?
Yeah, but there it is. The minty Mr. Black Mocha. That's
Minty Mr. Black Mocha.
The grasshopper meets Alexander, a rich crowd pleaser for sure. Last time, if you actually saw the original recipe, it does have like a beautiful garnish with a chocolate swirl on the outside of the glass with coffee beans pressed into it. And the only reason I haven't done it is because it makes a little bit of a mess, makes for an awesome photo, but my wife was a little bit annoyed last time.
So I think we got to taste some really spectacular cocktails today. I love that everybody took this competition seriously and
Right.
took a different approach to it and put their own spin on it. What do y'all think?
Really fun to get behind the stick for
Yeah, right?
the first time in a while, so definitely had fun with that too. I feel like we got to try a version of every different kind of drink. There was tiki, there was refreshing, there was Manhattan, old fashioned, dessert.
Very
all
like
that.
a well balanced of like variety of cocktails for sure.
Yeah.
It turns out Steve actually has a pretty good palate, and he's like knows how to like put a whole like 9 cocktail, you know, like a 9 cocktail menu together
Nice
for us.
balanced menu. Good job, Steve.
No, I really think that there was some, you know, winners in there, and I think everybody took a really rad approach to it. And I love the stories and like, you know, the stories that they told about their drinks.
Really good stories, really fun ingredients.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, just really, it was just a fun experience. And thank you so much, Steve, for letting us be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really great that we were a part of it since we had so many great submissions from the U.S. to have a few U.S. judges on the panel for this global competition. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. I mean, didn't even really think about it that way, but that's really cool.
But anyways, thank you so much, Steve. Good
Thank
luck
you,
to
Steve.
everybody, and I can't wait to see who ends up the winner. Yes, I can say these words out of my mouth. Cheers.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
No, thank you guys. Appreciate you jumping on board to be a part of the judging. I'm sure your feedback and critiques will be welcomed, and I'm happy to hear you enjoyed the variety of cocktails in the finals. What an epic 8 weeks it has been with some truly unique coffee cocktail submissions. Thanks for everyone that has submitted, voted, and followed along with the challenge. But now the time has finally come that we've all been waiting for, the announcement of the grand final winner. I've tallied the total scores between all 5 judges, my wife included, and I'll announce them from week 1 through 8. Damn, this was incredibly close. There was 2 points the difference in the top 3 scores. So first up, the Black Lavender Latte. Unique floral notes, and it finished on a score of 124. The Insomniacs Pillow, with a score of 132, which was deliciously decadent. Then Mr. Swizzle, refreshing and bright, finishing on 148. The Story of 3 Beans, a delightful sipper, finishing on 122. Then we have Mr. Lumberjack, a welcomed winter sipper, finishing on 113. If you know, you know, deliciously tiki with 146. The Himalayan Retreat, a trio of spices, with 118. Then the Vietnamese Coffee Martini, a nod to the Vietnamese coffee culture, with a score of 147. And last but not least, the minty Mr. Black Mocha, bringing back creme de menthe with a score of 142. So that means Mr. Swizzle has taken out the coffee cocktail challenge. Incredibly close, 2 points the difference in the top 3 scores. Congratulations, guys. Thank you for everyone I've already said it, but thank you for everyone that has entered. Really appreciate it, and congratulations to Nathan for taking out the top spot on the Coffee Cocktail Challenge. I'll be in touch, and you win a coffee machine. You win some cash. Fantastic. Congrats. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for another cocktail video. Cheers. This is the one time I don't have a drink.